So the animal kingdom has responded to me and saying, you don't like them young, you just like good looking. That's why you respond the way you do when they come on to you. They're like a niece. What my last ex said. When somebody underage comes on to me, somebody who's younger than me, you respond like a niece would, like an uncle and a niece. You don't look at them that way. Appreciate the advice. It's in the make you in the animal kingdom is saying they're making you feel like the creep. They're flipping the script, flipping the awkward. Somebody's got to take the fall, and they're making it seem like it was you. They probably have extreme daddy issues to be attracted to someone with such an age gap. And then the animal kingdom is saying is that plus you're fucking hot. People just don't know how to express themselves, and just say it's rare to meet somebody who can just Kylie's that way. This is why we are getting married. Nobody wants somebody behaving like a simpleton. Just tell me, communicate with me, tell me what you want. Why are you following me around? Why are you so creepy? How much easier life would be if people knew how to communicate better with one another. Well, I find you attractive, but I figured you would reject me, even if it's just that. But no, I'm just going to be rude to you and say slurs of all kind of sorts, just to a racial and the other kind. Because I don't know how to express myself and say when something's wrong or when I need to communicate something. I'm just going to take it out on you. So that's the way of the world. And the basis of most of my whole life, people not being able to communicate. And not all of them are that way. A lot of the underage and young kids that come on to me, they can admit it. A lot of them can admit it, and most of them cannot. And I don't know why they're following me around. Like, why the fuck are you following me? You can communicate when you want a soda. It's the same thing. It's communicating. The whole point is the word want. Put that in a sentence with all those different predicates and whatever the other shit the American language and English language puts into it. I want Lisa. If that's what you want, it's more than likely going to be a no. It is a no. But communicate what you want. And stop following me around like a fool. And then pinning it on me. So that's what people that's what's lacking in American culture. Is people not expressing what they want. And I wasn't like that when I was under 18 and when I was under 30. I didn't go around megging on people, because they were older and I knew they were. There was one teacher that it was obvious to me. I knew what sex was when I was in junior high, and it was obvious he was having sex with the students. He was a sub. His name was Timothy, and I forgot his last name. And I remember he waited until I grew up to make his move. He must have thought I would have been the one to tell somebody. And I won't rule it out if my mom threatened me. And he wasn't bad looking at Ingalls, but he was just that worked out because he was so weird. Like the way how he came on to me, Ingalls was like a turnoff. I was thinking, man, I dodged a bullet. I mean, if he having sex with 14-year-old girls, I probably don't want him anyway. I was thinking to myself, like, even though he was like 20-something, because one of the girls that she thought I was too stupid to know what sex was, she never told me they was having sex, but she saw me just staring at him, and I was in a daze. Just he's that good looking, and he never lost his luster over the years. And she was like, he's like 20-something, And it looked like she was in the same daze I was in, only you could tell they was fucking. So the whole point, I never picked on the guy about his age. People, different strokes for different folks. I've never felt the need to bring somebody else down to make myself feel better. That's what that is. And I didn't pick on him about his fix, his need for underage girls. Yeah, he used to screw, and that might be why he disappeared. He was pretty wide open with it. I'm like, I told you, it's a certain, you can tell when sex is in the air. You can tell when people having sex, and I might have not been the only one picked up on that aura, because he just suddenly vanished from and I was like happy I didn't get him for a class, because you know, us women, we think we're ready for sex, and we really no, you know, no one's ever really ready. No one's ever really ready. I keep talking about this shit, thinking I'm ready for KULKylie. I'm not ready. And my omen, she makes me ready. She makes me. I'm not gonna get into that, but yeah, I've never bullied somebody down just to make myself feel better about my age. I'm insecure about tons of things, just like the next person. That's human nature. That's a natural emotion, no matter okay, the animal kingdom and God is telling me I'm not insecure at all with KULKylie. They're saying it's just this apartment, and it's the way that I'm in, the way how I'm in Illinois right now. It's not Illinois itself, it's the way that I'm here. So the animal king, okay, saying I'm not insecure, and as far as the pressure goes, it's minimal. It's not like now they're saying what's up with KULKylie. It's not like, even though alcohol and drugs are depressing, they're saying the two of us share that trait, but when we're together, it's not so bad. So I'm, you know, looking back on it, you know, you naturally. I got some good advice. I'm not gonna say where I got it from, and you know, I think maybe I should keep that online and just save that for my friends in person. What I was gonna say will help my enemies, and I'm not gonna do that. After all these years, I need closure. You know, my granddad, he caught a lot of flack, a lot of negativity for screwing a girl. I don't know if she was underage or not. I didn't know she was younger than my grandmother. And my mom blamed him. But looking back on it and looking at how these women are throwing themselves at me and blaming me for it, and what Leon told me, can I say it, Lord? He said, proceed. What Leon told me, it matters who comes on to who. And God is showing me that this young girl came on to my grandfather. He was ship captain at that point. I don't know if he was retired ship captain. So, and he bought, my uncle said it was rare for black people in the 70s, 60s, 50s, 80s, 90s, 2000s to own houses, to own cars. They did it, but it was rare. And if you did it, he was hot stuff. He was hot shit. So my granddad was hot shit. And he was dark skinned, so he really had all these different rites of passages, all these different street creds going on. So that he knew what it was. I don't know if the girl knew what it was. I know what it is. It's just about cash. If you were about 20, 30 years older than the girl, and I won't rule out the boys. Some boys will provide or make better providers than men, and some don't. They're looking for the same thing those young girls are. But from what God is telling me, it went one way. She saw dollar signs. She saw a ship captain, and she knew he was horny. My grandmother probably was not putting out in some moments in some season, and probably not putting out as frequently as she once was. So he strayed, and it matters who comes on too. I do feel in my heart that, because what I'm going through with these young girls now that are coming on to me, that they are a temptation for me, not the other way around. But KULKylie's telling me not to fight it, because some people don't get sexual urges, and you do not want to fuck with your urges. Let them happen. She's like, baby, let them happen. Don't fight your sexual urges. Let that stuff, let your natural order itself. So she came on to my granddad, and he was horny. It's not like he went out looking for a woman. And I really do feel that in my heart. But they, my mom, just the way that they tell the stories, the granddad. And it was one time. They know it only takes one time. Some people say once a cheater, always a cheater. You know, go cry on Oprah. Go get on Oprah. And then you're gonna be on there with other women that ain't got nobody. They ain't got no partner, they ain't got no man. Ain't nobody gonna want your ass. You complaining about one mistake or you complaining about a million mistakes. You still could have had a place to stay. So you don't ruin it for us. Don't ruin it for us. You can't speak for us. Stay out of Kylie and I's marriage. So let me tell you something. I think she came on to my granddad because she saw she was a gold digger, and ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what you want. You're going after it. He's married, but you know he got cash. You ain't got to work at your bullshit job so hard because he can throw you some sugar daddy money. He can give you some sugar daddy money. Grandmama got mad because damn, grandmama's too old to work now. What the fuck I'm gonna do? Charlie B? My mom said whenever granddaddy was in trouble and they was arguing, she'd always call him Charlie B. I don't know if I ever mentioned this before, but my grandfather was named Charlie Bernard Sr. One of his sons, the one I called Chox, my uncle, my late Uncle Chox, was I thought Chox was his real name. Didn't know until he died and I read the obituary. That's how distant my family was. That's how close we were not on the obituary. Luckily I was literate. I'm still literate. I could read. And it said Charlie Bernard Myers. I might have missed that on my granddaddy's. My granddaddy is my uncle. My uncle was Charlie Bernard Myers Jr. He had a daughter named Paula, so he didn't have a son, as far as I know, and so he didn't carry on the family name. So it just occurred to me that my family, that means you got royal in your blood, or if they ain't your blood family, that's still in your system, though. That's still in your records or whatever, your faulty. Even though my records are faulty, is in them. So it didn't occur to me that I have, because I'm just now getting a new lens. I've been beating up on myself because I was in the wrong circles, but now I'm in the right circles. I'm like, ooh, David's hot stuff because he's a third. It's some men in my family that have carried on the family name. So I come from a family who, wow, that's neat. I'm learning with y'all on this podcast as I go through this podcast. So carrying on the family name is in my family. Nobody's ever sat down and we never talked about, besides my grandmother. Nobody ever said, this is Chox, this is, your uncle, his real name is blah, 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 he's a junior. Nobody ever said that to me, so I read on his obituary. And so I really do believe she came on to my granddad and he tried to resist as long as he could. That's how I feel about Diane, If you stood the two of us up, God is telling me they believe me. He's saying people will believe me. I'm just getting used to a new lens. I'm used to Patty. I'm used to what Janine did to me. I don't want to get into all that, but say y'all something. Say y'all something. Kylie plays in my hair. She it's a pet peeve of hers. She don't want nobody else in my hair, and my ongoing omens and visions of her. She grows my hair down my back. So I feel like I'm rambling, and God is saying this is useful information. Keep going. So yes, junior and senior was in my family. They're both no longer with us. Cause of death. To this day, I'm unsure, and I wouldn't trust any narrative that my family or friends of the family have given. And God is not leading me to stop the footage. So I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna keep doing this ongoing. Like there's an infinite amount of people in the crowd. It's just me here, but there are people, other people in the surrounding buildings. The walls are thin. They could hear this podcast. So where two or more gather, He is there. I've been incorporating the Our Father prayer more, and my comings and goings. Consulting with God about everything. Even my California trip. I'm going to get that going. I think I should keep going. God is like, it's hot. Don't fight. Don't fight anything. My mom used to say that too. When I had momentum going in my life, whether it was good or bad, she would say, don't fight it. Don't fight that momentum. So there's momentum going in my life right now, more than one area. It's getting to be that way where people see me and it's like, there's a celebrity. Like I said, these people can't communicate with their mouths how they feel about me, but that works out because somebody told me actions speak louder than words. So their actions are telling me, oh my God, there she is. And she's about to post up, right? She's got to be here using the Wi-Fi. So it's gotten to be difficult trying to get my podcast up. But God has got some trickery that's been allowing me to not miss a beat posting. He doesn't promote you in private, I don't question him. My old life I would have questioned him, but I'm in a pretty good environment right now. It's not 100% good, but it's better than where I was. And so in the old life I would have been complaining like Ratty McRatterson. I tried to get him in my footage and he just took off. He just took off running. Okay, he doesn't want to cut into my podcast either. So they get pretty big, and I don't want to think about it. It's not like it's the first time I've lived with a rat. Come all ye who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I need to tell people about Janine, what happened with Janine, but not publicly, because that helps my enemies. But it would help me to talk about what happened with her, and I don't want to help out my enemies, but there's some things I could tell you to survive Janine, and I don't want to help, especially somebody like Tyson. Tyson kind of looked like my granddad. My grandfather was not a looker. They showed me a picture of him, but he was smart enough to compensate. He had a great job, a career. He bought a house. He bought a couple of cars. I wasn't lying when I told Tyson that. When I said, you look like my granddad, I wasn't lying. My granddaddy was not a looker. When I saw they told me they were going to give me a picture of my granddad. I was expecting, just total knockout, like handsome. They showed that picture. And up until now, I'll never admit that he was ugly. He was not a looker. That's why I say the girls after his money. And he wasn't Judging by that photograph, I didn't think this way when I was younger, but judging by that photograph, he's not the kind of man that could have just walked up to a young girl like a horse do, and not looking like that. And he dressed really bummish. And my grandmother won't rule out she might have married him for money. You know, at one time my mom got really upset and told me, you know, well, your family didn't tell you the truth. You know, your grandmother wasn't always stay-at-home wife. There was a time when she didn't work. I mean, like, what I'm trying to say, she had a job. I think she said I won't rule it out, I don't know, but my uncle verified she was like some kind of military SOS girl or something. He said these are the girls who used to, long story short, they come in and dance for the soldiers and the sailors, and they got them horny. Their reward for their service, and he made them sound like prostitutes. They did a little performance for the, so he said she was, I don't know if my grandmother was military. He's talking about something that's out of my generation, so I don't know. I want to say I looked it up. I don't remember. But, so my mom got angry and so, you know, they lied to you. She worked at one point in time. And I was like, oh, okay, geez. She wasn't always a stay at home. Everybody in my family has their own lives and own narrative. Cousin Buffy told me, and she wasn't the only one. Cousin Buffy told me that the lady, they call her Lady, also my grandmother, Johnny Pearl, was also more than one person said she was a stay-at-home wife and never worked. But then my uncle said, well, she had one job at one time. I don't know how long she did it, but she was an SOS girl. You know, so he said that was the one job she had. I won't rule out that being her only job. And maybe my mom never told me she was a daddy's girl, but just based off of, I don't want to talk about my mother, but I do want to talk about myself. God is telling me that that Kylie is a daddy's girl, and she comes in, she sits on my lap, and our kids sit on my lap. You know, I've never, because of the way how my mom raised me, I never, he is just sitting there. I ain't never seen a mouse do that. He just came out from under there and just was sitting there looking and sniffing the air. So, I ain't never had that, with people that I wanted. I've had some people in my old life that made me sit on their laps. Some men, not women, some men that made me sit on their laps. But as far as wanting someone to sit on my lap, so in my omens, God is telling me, Kylie sits on my lap because she's a daddy's girl. She sits on my lap and I sit on her lap quite often. And our kids sit on the two of us, our laps. You have to be because of American culture. Sitting on laps, especially dealing with children, is a thing. This is a huge debate about that thing. But me and Kylie somehow get away with it. We show that affection to our kids. You don't see that too often in public, a child sitting on a man's lap. And sitting on a woman's lap is just unheard of in America. In any country, you just don't hear about that. So I don't know if kids still sit on Santa's lap or not. Because, you know, dick to butt, pussy to butt. It's, that's the debate. Or are you just trying to cop a feel? Or are you really just trying to, you know, have a private bonding and show affection to in your family? But in my own, me and Kylie our kids are allowed to sit on our laps, and me and Kylie sit on each other's laps. And, yes, Kylie is a daddy's. I know it's hard to imagine that because you never see them really. Kylie's a private person. You never see them together and affectionate because Kylie is very private, which is why the two of us go really well together because just because you see somebody with like unlimited amount of selfies and pictures with loved ones on Facebook don't mean that they can't be private. She's very private. So am I. But yeah, she's very much so a daddy's girl. I've had some bad experiences until Kylie with daddy's girls. They always bullied me because my dad wasn't around and he left me when I was. My uncle said he used to come around. He walked out on me. I don't know what age I was, but he walked out on me and never come back. And I'm not gonna let him take the fall for that. My mom, according to my uncle, he said, "You see the way how your mama is now? This is a lifetime ago." My uncle said this to me, Roland. He said, that's why your dad took off. He finally stopped coming around. He tried to pay child support and everything. He tried to come around and stay around, but the way how she talks to everybody else is how she talked to him, and your dad wasn't having that. So he said, I met your dad a couple occasions, and so my dad stopped coming around, and so I'm not mad at my dad, but I was when I was a kid, but when I grew up and got to see my mom for how she really was. Get out of here, Rex. You still hungry? That's your problem. Get out of my room. Speedy Gonzalez. Speedy Gonzalez. Kylie on my lap, yeah, so Kylie, she sits on my lap and stuff, I've had some really weird partners, and in regards to the sex thing, weird with the sex, but she is not weird when it comes to sex. Like, when you're married, you're supposed to fuck your partner, so she's not weird about that rule. She's not weird, and she's not forcing herself on me, and just enjoy sex, and that would be a first for me with a partner. Other than a few of them that weren't weird, we knew. No, I can't word it that way. No need to explain that. So I figured I have something, a gift. If people were working this hard to keep me from getting my work done, if people were working this hard to keep me from putting videos up, then you must have something. If there's so much adversity where people don't want me to use my gifts and my talent, not everybody, these are the people who are against me, it's not a whole lot of them, but some. Then if that's the case, then it's what pulled me out of bed today. Even though I needed the rest, I needed the bed rest, and it's what got me out of bed. I was like, I have to go get Wi-Fi. I have to go upload videos if it's that bad. advance me. That means I'm on to something. It's like like a reporter would say. That's what I told myself. I said, if it's that serious to where I got this much against me, I have to go and go to it and complete my talents. I have to. And I felt compelled to. And this is what it's like on KULKylie and our property when it's not just me, it's the two of us. When we're working in our studios, we have a joint one, a separate one. And when we're working in the studio, people, and they interrupt us on our property. All right, they're on our property. They know, oh, okay, she must be about to put a poster. Okay, KULKylie is about to launch a new line, and they'll get on our property and try to work against us. So this is in alignment to and in my omen, the last 3 years of my life, God told me you won't have a phone. And the bullies, me having a phone was what the bullies was using to follow me home. And so the people plus God is saying, why not just bring that vision to pass faster where you don't have a phone? It seems like things have been going better for you without the phone. And people didn't just do anything but just call me and annoy me when I had a phone and harass me. And so it's changed. That's why things have been changing in person for me. Things are different in person. And people are mad almost because they're not able to call me and harass me at home. My daddy's girl, I love the way how that sounds. She sits on my lap. Sometimes I have a strap on, sometimes I don't. But usually she is the one with the strap on because I know she's like the guy in the relationship, in the marriage. She's the guy, so. And KULKylie's more progressive than I because she's lived in California for a good portion of her life. I have a California personality, but I've never been to California. I don't think the gay thing is as progressive as it used to be in California with, I'm not going to name drop, but with all these new people in office, they're trying to get the whole country to a Bible thumping stage where it's just straight people who are miserable and really are gay. So, I'm not going to say it used to be a lot of gay pride in California, but now that Gavin, his name is scary as fuck, Gavin. Gauntlet or something. All words that begin with G that I can't think of right now. I don't feel like I'm tired as fuck. Gavin. Grenade, you know, so that this motherfucker's pushing back on gay rights, so so California was once the gay-friendly state, and that's where all the gays moved to feel welcome. But it ain't nowhere in America right now to where the gay thing is. The Bible Belt, the people who support the Bible Belt rather have a whole bunch of miserable people. Already are miserable enough in America, but they rather in communist China also. They are equally as bad to us, to America, and the gay rights thing. They rather have a bunch of miserable people than to just let people be free and be themselves. Land of the free. It's really not. It's just some laws were bent and twisted over the years to, we're not going to get into all that, but yeah, it's not really a free country. I told you, if you get married, I'm not sure how many states have retracted the gay marriage thing, but it's against the law. Nobody talks this way because they don't want to make it sound bad and make it sound like what it is. You go to jail if you marry the same sex. That's what was the law before gay rights was passed to get married in all 50 states, but it's been retracted, so I don't know. That's why there's like a paranoia about people staying in the closet. Nobody wants to go to jail, go to prison for being gay. That's why so many people lie about their sexuality. They don't want prison time. God is forcing me to keep the mic on, even though I'm tired. He wants me to keep talking to you until there's no film left. The rapture could come at any moment. My death, Kylie's death could come at any moment. Like I won't say who I told, that the next moment's not promised. Tomorrow's not promised. So while I got the air in my lungs, I barely got strength to tell you what I'm going to tell you. While I got the strength. When God allows me to post, I'm a poster for you. When He lets me post, I'm a poster for you. God put me in California right now, as the situation said, Mike, sex on the rig. I've never had a normal partner. I can not want to relive any of my past experiences. I'm going to keep going as long as God will allow me to. But speaking of gay, the gay rights thing, man, I'm telling you, it's You understand more by and by. I never thought about it till now, but when how huge of a deal when Constitution legislation passed a law in all 50 states you could get married and be of the same sex, and before that you could go to jail. It's against the law. The law. The law. Against the law to marry your same sex. So I don't tend to mingle with people who aren't real, but hey, fake people are crafty. You don't always know when you're around somebody fake. My brother Nick is believe that because we're I don't know, last time I talked to him, I'm just gonna guess. I'm gonna say around the 2000s. Let's say 2005. And I'm just gonna guess, and let's just say he is so uneducated to where I'm trying to talk to him, have a real moment, real bonding, sister brother moment. This is why we don't talk to each other now. And you don't think racism is still a problem in America? You don't think equality is you don't think the gay rights thing is important? No, we're in 2007, 2005. We don't have those issues anymore. This is America, land of the free, home of the brave. We don't know. You're delusional. So these are the kind of people I don't like to talk to. They like to live in, as Shane said, fantasy land. Whatever he said, fantasy island. Nick is in a fantasy. I don't like to talk to people who are in fantasy. Those issues are still core. I mean, look at how the migrants are being treated right now. And a lot of black people are for it. And, it was, I can't say where I was at, but hearing the blacks be for it. And then say, they did the same thing to us. And this is why I hate public transportation. These are the kind of conversations that happen on the bus. And this was when ICE come to pass. When ICE, I don't know if ICE has always been around or for something that's new, but was new to me. ICE is new to me. This is when ICE first came out, like this, sometime this year. It was always somebody dark skinned. I hate to put it that way, it sounds bad, but every time I witnessed somebody being happy about a migrant being taken down or a death, it was somebody black. A lot of black people don't like it take Edna to tell it. A lot of black people don't like Hispanics because they say Hispanics, we get privileges. Will said the same thing. He said, why Tyson hates you? No, I don't, Will. Why does he hate me? Because you get privileges. Hispanic people get privileges. Mulatto people get privileges. And so, then there I say again, Tyson's dark skin. It's a rarity to, can I say that out publicly, Lord? I got something I need to check out. I feel like something's crawling on me. And in this apartment, it's hardly possible. Okay, so where were we? Yep, so Edna said, I don't like Hispanics. Because they always get at the time I was employed and shit was not. It went over my head. Hispanic people take black jobs. She said both. They take the jobs and they take the black jobs. So this is why a lot of black people, even though slavery happened here in America and other parts of the world, this is why there's no sympathy. You want sympathy and you're migrating better. You might not want to talk to a black person about it. And it's, can I say this, Lord? It takes the late Star, she told me this. She said, whenever you see dark skin, beware. She said, whenever you see that color, beware. They're just mean and hateful because they feel like they're cursed because of the complexion thing. It's a small amount of them that are not that way. And I can recall Miss Mitchell not being that way. But Tyson was that way, just mean and hateful because of his complexion. He's forced that to me over the years about his complexion, about wanting to be my color and be my brother Joel, being hateful. And I remember going to my mother and again, somebody else who was like my mother, because my own mother wasn't. And I remember saying, Mom, I'm in my 30s. But the advice was that helpful. It only took 30-something years for somebody to pull me aside and finally, why are these people so mean and hateful to me? And but Miss Mitchell was dark-skinned and polite to me. And every now and again, I'll meet a dark-skinned person that's polite to me. So Star said, when I told her about what Kyle was doing to me, she said, let me guess. He's short. Uh-huh. He's dark-skinned. Uh-huh. Whenever you see that color, she had a black belt. She pulled a black belt out. She said, you see this black belt? Whenever you see that color, beware. And Star was fair-skinned. She said she had a dark-skinned guy snatch the rollers out of her hair. She said, does he act a certain way when you look in the mirror, or does he just stand there in the mirror behind you and stare at you? Yeah, uh-huh. And that was all she said. So Mother added to what she said. I did not. I said, Mother told her exactly what Star said. What do you think about her advice? Because I agree with her. And she said, I do too. She said, I think maybe if the dark-skinned person isn't mean and hateful and isn't your bully, it's a very small amount. There's not a big amount of them that, so this kid that I just met of color, he's in that very small amount. It is a very small amount. And like Ms. Mitchell, he keeps himself relatively okay up, keeps himself up, gets his showers, and he seems happy and embraced being dark-skinned. But it's a very small amount of people around here that are happy about being dark-skinned. A lot of it was in a movie when I was a kid. I didn't understand the movie. I don't understand it now because I'm not dark-skinned. But the movie, the dark-skinned people wanted to be, maybe it's called Purple. The dark-skinned people wanted to be light-skinned. Yeah, that's what the movie was about, and it came out when I was a kid. So that's the issue. That's why they're so mean and so hateful. They hate. I won't rule out that Mama might have said that when I was a kid. You want to know why they're so mean, so hateful? Because they hate you because of your complexion, and they don't want to be black. So, yes, DJ was not a sweet one. He put on a front, and he had. You could tell he had issues because of his color. He wanted to be either a white boy, a Hispanic boy, or a Jewish guy. He definitely was not happy being dark skinned. And I don't want to carry that to my grave, but hopefully that advice will help you, will help someone. But yeah, she told me that. But yeah, Kyle. It never occurred to me. I've never seen him date a dark-skinned woman. He always kept me around or kept around. His mother wasn't dark either. He kept around white girls. And mine is Christy. I don't remember Christy's last name. That I went to school with. So God moved me to go to the library, and now me and Kate are in this off again, on again. God, her pants were tight. They were really, really tight, and these new doctors, they got me. I have an appetite bag. These I won't rule out K. It's causing me to have more than one appetite bag. And, it's not the move thing because God can still cause me to move at any moment. That's not it because still doesn't want me getting comfortable in Illinois. So Mom said that men like it when women fight over them. They were fighting over me at the library, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I won't say which two, but they were fighting over who got to check me out, and I thoroughly, and Mom said, guys, I'm not even thinking to myself, pish posh. I thoroughly enjoyed them fighting over me. So a woman can't, damn you, a woman can enjoy it too. Two women fighting over them. So now they see the power in my post, and I'm just gonna keep going, even though my bank account isn't growing. The audience is not just online, on the streets in the world, uniting with people. And, I felt good this morning. I felt good. I hadn't felt good in a long time. And, I felt warm and fuzzy all over, and so it led me to pray. And I prayed before I went out, and I met some people that were kind of all right. And I know that prayer is what shielded me from that woman that took this position to get close to me, and because she's in a position of power. I'm not gonna say when or where or how, where she works, but her position can do some damage, and I would have talked to her if the people hadn't threatened me. I would have talked to her. And things are just they're different now. Things are way different now. That's pretty bad. He's a fan, and he interrupts my podcast, but I would take that compliment. Some of the people in this building are not fans. They're hybrid. What am I trying to say? They're fans, even though they interrupt the footage. And I won't rule out knocking, but I've had some people knock and interfere with my findings. So I was thinking about God put Milwaukee on my heart, but then he took it away. He put it on me, and then he took it away. And he first said Milwaukee, and then he said that's time that could be spent with your wife. And then the people don't want to see you out in the wilderness. If you're gonna be out in the wilderness, they want you with KULKylie. They don't want you just out camping without her. They're ready to see the two of you together. Got crisis right now. This one bump that I taped up when I was out. I taped it up when I was out. Giving me some issues. So I want to see if this medicine will come out here that help me with the other. Use this to see if this will work to get it out. Did it work? I don't know. So the people who aren't for me, but they watch my podcast, my fans, they're forcing me to recall a memory. And I thought it was always going to be that way in Gulfport. And thought it'd always be my ex throwing me a bone. And he made me feel pretty bad. Like I can't, in certain words I can't bring myself to say, but I thought it was always going to be that way. The same roads, Laura and Charlie, having to put up with Sully, having to take the same type of employment. I mean, there's a part of me now that thinks they're not calling me because I'm ugly, like all these jobs I applied to, and then the person whose thumb I'm under is treating me like I'm not applied for any work, even though I've sent like spreadsheets full of employment. So it's on my mind, you know. Bad memories, trauma have God caused me to forget it, and then it's come back, you know. You all know I'm battling with some things. I can't wait to see my wife. I'm battling right now to keep my voice, and God is not leading me to turn my mic off because He's telling me, you don't know when I'm going to take you. You don't know when I'm coming to claim my property. I've never heard, this is the best way to put it, when Tyson's pastor preached, it never grabbed me. One sermon he did grabbed me, and it was Mrs. Mitchell's funeral. And he said one day God is going to come and collect his property. And looking back on it, maybe he wasn't just talking about her. Maybe he was talking to me, Keisha, Pastor Pugh, and maybe he was talking about all of us who are God's children. He said, anybody who believes in God, anybody who's God's children, you are his property. And he said that God came to collect his property. Miss Mitchell was God's property. He said she had an untimely death, but at the same time, it was just her time that God came to, well, she was a joy to be around. She was just trailblazing, doing things that people weren't supposed to do in their 50s. She was barely 50. She was, I don't know, early 50s, late 50s. She looked young. She was doing things that most 50-something-year-olds didn't do. She wasn't going to the same stores every day. She was going over pastoring people, evangelizing, counseling people. I mean, she would go to stores, but she changed it up. It wasn't the same store every day. She would go people who she knew had domestic problems. She would go and counsel them, and I would take her, and as her caretaker, I would take her on her journey, her errands. So, we never know what spirits we entertain. I forget who said that to me. We don't never know. You have to watch how you treat people because you never know what spirits you entertain. And I think about in my old life how people disrespected me, you know. You never know who you're talking to that's inside that body. I don't treat people that way. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what spirit is in there. Grandmother may have came back and took over and poltergeist her grandson. I mean, we really don't know. We're not wrestling with flesh. We're wrestling with spirits and principles. We're wrestling with spirits and principalities. I'm going to tell you something. When I go out, even inside my own apartment, I wrestle with things. And God is showing me that's not flesh that you're wrestling with. You're wrestling with spirits. You go into a building. Inside a building, there's a bunch of people there. You go on inside a bus, there's a bunch of people there. Those are spirits. Certain movies have that whisper. Certain movies have that whisper. And you can hear the spirits talking in there. Like now. Especially if you've been doing dope, drugs, or alcohol. So you so sleepy right now, but God is not telling me to go to sleep. Telling me to go to bed. Like right now, God is telling me that I'm better than a cheap box of smokes and a cheap beer. I can remember when I was living in the South, 20 pack of short cigars. They were no good. All them squares, them guys used to tell me, they didn't call themselves them squares in the South. I don't know what the fuck they called themselves. Probably Alpha Gen or some shit, Gen Alpha. And they would tell me, you got a cigar? They always asked me if I had a cigar because I was a pretty heavy smoker trying to leave Tyson and all. Me and Kylie don't do that in that way in our marriage, but we want to live, and people are pushing me to smoke, so that's on my mind for a reason. And so Kylie and I, so a box of Remington used to be like $1.19. Then it went up to $1.59. I don't know. They always stayed less than $2. Then I know they went up to like $1.70 at Exxon. You could get them at different gas stations along Highway 90. They make you think you're getting a deal, right? And the malt liquor, you was like close to $2 for a tall can, which was a tease, but also got you too drunk. You on your ass off a 8% tall can that it's no telling what the fuck you drinking. You drinking gasoline out of somebody's barn mixed with moonshine. Your ass is like on Mars and Venus and Earth. And so that's the feeling of the drug, whatever they putting in that shit. 'Cause they don't give a shit what they sell you because of the price. And so my first mindset is to go get me a cheap box of Remington. You get 20 short cigars. They're the size, these cigars are the size of a cigarette, regular size cigarette, and it's 20 in a box. I count them. That's how paranoid I was with my domestic stuff. The guys just recently renewed my mind, and I'm counting the only thing I count in Kylie and I's marriage. That's how secure we are in our marriage. That's how secure she makes me feel, and that's how secure I am with her. I don't worry about money. I don't worry about anything when I'm married to her, so I don't count anything but my pills. My pills are the only thing that I count is pills. I don't count anything else to see if it's been stolen, because I'm not in the domestic stuff anymore. So my first mindset is to go get a cheap box of smokes and $2 beer. Go get a $2 beer. Because that's how I've defined my worth over the course of my lifetime so far. Is no, not saving up to get a bottle of Pinot. What a Pinot, not Pinot, Pinot. Bottle of Pinot. Bottle of KULKylie, and so I'm not thinking about nice things. When I think about alcohol, my mind automatically, when I think about anything, it automatically goes to the cheap shit. That's just like Dollar Tree. My worth was also defined by Walmart, by Dollar Tree, by Dollar General. I don't go to those stores anymore.